A very warm welcome back. We're in Kimberley today, if you've just tuned in. Yesterday, the Premier of the province, the Honourable Sylvia Lucas, delivered the State of the Province address, where she spoke about a wide range of issues that we're going to be unpacking. If you'd like to be part of that conversation, wherever you may be, and perhaps you've got experiences that you can bring to the province here, at Morning Live SABC is our Twitter handle, hashtag #TNABizBrief. We certainly look forward to you being part of that conversation, as well as this audience that's here in Kimberley as well, taking part in this conversation. So let's continue with our chat. Just before the break, we spoke about the big themes that came through in the SOPA yesterday, and we heard about some of the challenges on the economic front. But also, because the province has like a couple of pillars upon which it's built its economy, mining, the other is agriculture. It's important to hear from the MEC for Agriculture and Land Reform, the Honourable Norman Shushu. This drought has come with a vengeance, and I just wonder how the province has been affected, and what have you been able to do to mitigate and also help farmers dealing with some of the the worst drought conditions they've seen in many years?
Yeah, it's quite a serious challenge for our country, but also for our province. We do have a drought management strategy in place, and we're one of the first provinces actually to have put such a strategy in place. And that is probably why, if you look at the animal mortality as a result of the drought, we have experienced the least animal mortality. Not that the drought did not have a devastating impact in the agricultural sector, especially for the animal farmers, the livestock farmers. We do have in place an early warning committee that looks at the weather patterns, and therefore we are able to advise our farmers well in advance and to communicate to them the number of livestock that they are allowed to keep on the land, such that they are able to mitigate the impact of the drought. And if you look at the stats nationally, you'll realize that the Northern Cape has experienced the least animal mortality. But we also have, as a government, made resources available through our CAS program to the tune of 23 million to mitigate the impact of drought amongst our farmers. More than 2,000 farmers will be benefiting, smallholder farmers. We have also put together the registration from commercial farmers. 800 commercial farmers have registered to participate in the process. We are expecting, and I spoke to the DG yesterday evening from National, we are expecting an additional 19 million rand in addition to the 23 million that we are spending for drought relief in order to mitigate the impact in the province. So those are some of the plans that are in place, and we're hoping that with the improvement of weather conditions, the veld should be improving. And then, but one of the main challenges is to manage veld management, and that is what we are busy training our farmers so that they can use the land much more effectively, so that when we are experiencing challenges like we do during the current phase now, we're able to ensure that there's a least impact in the agricultural sector.
And I guess the key to all of this has been planning, and this is maybe the message that you can share with the other provinces that are affected. But there's only so much money that can go around, and some of these strategies are more short-term than long-term. If it goes longer than we expect, will you still be able to manage if this drought continues beyond what we expect?
Well, maybe I should indicate that we've got the stock farmers, livestock farmers, and we've got about 120,000 hectares of land under irrigation. And if our rivers dry run, then it will even become worse. But as it is now, we do not have a lot of challenges. It has affected crop production, but very minimally, because most of our land is under irrigation, as I've indicated. The Falat's irrigation scheme is one of the largest in the southern hemisphere. We've got about 40,000 hectares under irrigation. The lower Orange, another 40,000 irrigation. and the area of Priska, Daslas, Hopetown, another 40,000 irrigation. So we're able to manage at this point relatively very well, but the drought has had an impact, of course. We wouldn't say it didn't have an impact. Like we said, the management of the fact that we had a strategy in place, we're able to warn our farmers well in advance and assist them to manage their livestock much more better. Of course, if this drought continues, we are grateful that we had some rain. It will have an impact, and it is a struggle against nature. Part of the issues is the responsibility of the whole world to ensure that we actually look after this world, we look after our environment, so that climate change is managed, because the destruction to the world is irreversible. Unfortunately, all the people of the world have to come together and ensure that mitigation strategies are put in place so that we can manage, the weather patterns can be managed more easily, and we are able to survive under the current conditions.
We'll chat a little bit about land reform during the conversation, but Premier, before we go to our audience and to Twitter, obviously the opposition parties will have their view on your State of the Province address, and I would like you to address them, because they said, we've heard this all before, and we say the right things, but are not doing anything. What do you say to the opposition that are accusing you of just recycling the same promises?
Now, if you come with a preoccupied mind, you will never hear what is new. You will always think that you heard, that you thought you are going to hear. But the unfortunate part is that if people are truthful, they will say there is a difference. But what do you expect from opposition? They want to play politics, and that is what they will do. But we cannot play politics with the life of our people, and that is why we will move on, because it is a moving car that the dogs bark upon. Otherwise, they would have nothing to say if I had nothing to say.
All right, so one of the things that you have said and you keep saying is radical economic transformation as espoused by the President. What would you say has been radical during your administration? Because radical means, quite serious, dramatic change. What would you say would highlight a radical economic transformation that you've been able to put into play?
Whatever you want to do, you do it within the current circumstances. And if the conditions allow, you will be able to do what is right for the people. One of the things that is very important for us is the whole concept of BBBEE, and to make sure that we develop and we capacitate SMMEs. If you've listened to the speech, you will see that the Department of Economic Development and other entities succeeded in making sure that they assist almost 200 SMMEs to see that there is a difference and there is a change. We have also, through our Public Works Department, we have actually started to train artisans. We have given about 69 million for bursaries for children just to get better educated. Like MEC Jack have said, whatever you do, you build your economy on the basis of the available skills, and you must make sure that you provide that skills to the market. But what is also radical in this province, and we must acknowledge that, is the fact that we are running a successful university. For the first 3 years already, Solplaik University have shown that in terms of our thinking patterns, in terms of developing academia, there is something radical that is happening in this province. So, and we are responding to the economic challenges that are there. So, other people won't see it as radical, because it is just how you interpret what is meant by radical. But if you had nothing, and all of a sudden you have something, a radical change have come in your life.
Okay, wonderful. All right, after the break, I'm going to ask you about the skills development, and it's all very well to put these plans in place and trainings, but are there jobs waiting for these young people on the other side of that skills development? Otherwise, you might have an unemployed, skilled workforce. All right, we'll talk about that after we take another quick break. Stay with us.
kingdom,